I had a couple thoughts recently about this amazing idea. This concept that each person has a voice. I have a voice, you have a voice, your friends have voices, everyone around us, every single one of us have a voice. Why do people feel the need to keep their ideas and their opinions and their concerns deep down inside? Well, I'm a classic example again. In my case, my entire life consisted of keep the family secrets down and don't say anything. So when it came time to express my concerns or express that I had wants and needs for my family, it didn't happen because I was not in a situation where that could happen. I wasn't in a place where I was being listened to. I wasn't in a place where people loved. It wasn't a loving situation at all. In The King's Speech, the movie, probably the clearest example of this. I'm in the back of a loading dock. They might be calling the police. I need to finish this quickly. In The King's Speech, the prince who was to take the throne, his entire life he stuttered, and it's pissed his dad off. Well, guess what? His dad has been the cause of his low self-confidence. So every time he wants to say something or project something to somebody, he second-guesses himself and he stutters. It's that kind of thing. And this wasn't a physical issue. It was very clearly all in the head. The guy goes through numerous therapists for speech. Nothing works. The guy finally meets a therapist, and instead of working on his ability to speak, what he did was he worked on his confidence, on his self-confidence and his self-image. So it comes to a scene in the movie, which is exactly the point that I had, is where the guy, the therapist, goes and he sits in this, in the Pope's chair, sits in it, and the prince yells at him, he stutters at him. He's like, "Dude, you shouldn't sit there." Oh. You shouldn't sit there. And the therapist says, "Why? It's just a chair. Just some dusty old men have sitting." And the prince is trying to say his point and his concern and what he has to say. And the therapist says, "Why? Why should I listen to you?" And the prince finally spits out, "Because I have a voice, damn it!" And the therapist says, "You're right." He gets up from the chair. You do have a voice. I want you to know, no matter where you are, I want you to remember that you have a voice. Speak up. If you have an idea, if you have a concern, if there's a problem in your life, say something. Don't worry about looking like a vampire or something. If you've got issues, find someone that can help you. Say something. You are not meaningless. You are amazing. You have a voice. I have a voice. Your friends have a voice. And there's a good likelihood that people around you aren't speaking out when they should be. Now, I want you to be aware of certain situations. When I didn't always say my voice when I was at my parents' house for good reason. That was a trespassing message. I gotta go. I wanted to finish this real quick. If you are an LGBT person, take a long, hard look at your family before you tell them some of the concerns you have about yourself, because if your family is not one of those, is not accepting, is not progressive, is not positive about those kinds of things, you could very well find yourself out on the street depending on what kind of situation you're in. For those kinds of things, when I was at my house, my parents' house, every time I spoke up, about my concerns, guess what? My mom would would just blow up on me, and my brothers actually, and my mom would actually single out our youngest brother because she knew that I would come in and stand up for them, for him, and for him really, and it was, and she knew that, and she would like single him out, and when I wasn't around, try to do things, or every time I said my voice. So you know what I did? I left, and I'm around positive people, and guess what? I don't talk to my parents very much, as you might be able to guess. Sorry for the color. I'm not that green sickly look. But just take it as advice. Be careful who you're saying your voice to, in case it's not well received. And if it isn't well received, you need to be around people who will receive it well. Positive people, positive, progressive people who are your friends. You have a voice. You are awesome. Remember that. The next time you have something to say, please speak up.